In today's broadcast, I'd like to talk about a conference I attended at Edgar Cayce's A.R.E. in Virginia Beach. It was a 3-day conference starting at Friday afternoon around 12:30 and concluding at 5:30 on Sunday afternoon, so it was a robust schedule. I arrived around 11 a.m. on Friday morning and had some time to be able to stop in on the offices of Atlantic University. Atlantic University is on the same campus as the A.R.E. It's located up the hill, and I was able to stop in and see some people who I had gotten to know through email, which I suppose is one of the downsides of online education, is that you don't actually get to see people in person. So I had a nice visit with the people that run the school there, and it was just a great way to put a name and a face with an email. And they're very dedicated to the cause of transpersonal psychology, which is the master I'm in, and also generally getting Edgar Cayce's work known. Registration began at 12:45, and they had a sort of open networking where you got to greet people, and they had a game that they employed that allowed people to have to fill out a questionnaire, so that enforced them to meet other people along the way. So it was a nice way to kick off the weekend. The first speaker on Friday afternoon was A.R.E, who spoke about awakening your intuition. He has an amazing life story that he told. He's an attorney and a whole bunch of other things, including being a psychic and a medium and a motivational speaker. So he provided some very grounding information and to trust and to believe in ourselves. And it was just a great way to start this 3-day conference. And literally the name of his talk was Awakening Your Intuition. The evening program was a video conference featuring Dean Radin, who provided a very sensible and, in some cases, detailed scientific foundation for the existence of psi phenomenon, psychic abilities, intuitive abilities, etc. He went through a number of studies. He's been involved in this field for decades. He's a physicist, and I believe he was also part of the program where the government was looking at using psychic phenomenon for its own purposes. On Saturday morning, the speaker was John Holland. He's very well known in this arena. He has written several books and has been speaking extensively at conferences, although he doesn't do a lot of it now since he's got such a client base given how much he's known in this area. He walked through his own personal journey. He's a fellow Boston guy and ended up out in L.A. before studying mediumship in the U.K. for a couple of years. He was phenomenal. He has such a gift, but also such a warm and generous personality, and was able to really provide us with some valuable information on how we can progress as well. And like anything else, whether it's athletics or pursuing a degree in another topic area, you've got to put a lot of work into it. And John obviously did. It's not something that you're going to wake up someday and say, oh, I'm a psychic, I can do this, that, or the other. It's something you have to work at and be dedicated to. He certainly provides that example of what to follow. Interspersed also in his program was the demonstrations where he would go around the room and actually bring in spirits from other side, the people who were in the audience, and just remarkable what he was able to do. The level of detail, the evidential mediumship that he was able to do was phenomenal, and the impact it had on people was really touching. The Saturday afternoon program was led by Janet Nahovac, another well-known psychic and medium. She's also written several books and has started a church in New Jersey. She's studied over at the Arthur Findlay College and was also a presenter over there. So she's got international credentials as well. And, she was a former Catholic nun and then sort of found her spirituality ultimately in this area of mediumship. And she provided some very nuts and bolts activities and stories helping us figure out how we might follow a similar path. And I felt a connection with her given the fact that she had been actively Catholic and then made that transition to this spirituality. John Holland actually filled in for a speaker who wasn't able to come at the very last minute in the evening, so he picked up where he had left off in the morning, providing more insights into exercises and steps that we can do to increase our abilities, and also provided demonstrations. Part of the evening he spent doing on-the-fly dream interpretations, and I got called on, and I had relayed a recurring dream I have where I'm driving along the beach on a road. In my mind, I'm in a place in Martha's Vineyard, and it's a single-lane road each way, and the ocean is to the right. And so he tied in the ocean and to being on my right brain and being how I'm becoming more open as I pursue this spirituality, and that's the car indicates that I'm moving along that path of becoming more open and more spiritually aligned and in tune with the universe. Sunday's session, there were 3, the morning, the early afternoon, and the late afternoon, were all led by another woman from New Jersey, Karen Noe. She has her own church up there as well. She gave us very practical little things to focus on. Started out with a session on the auras and gave us some exercises we can do on a daily basis, which I started doing about opening up and aligning the auras. One is to turn clockwise 21 times. You don't want to do it too fast or you'll get dizzy and fall down, but it's a way of getting your chakras moving in the right direction. There was also another exercise where she had us look at 4 different pieces of paper, colored paper that she had cut out, and we put them up against a white background. And the trick was to see the auras around the edges. And people started getting into that, which I was able to do. And she also had given each person a pendulum, which was on our seats when we arrived there in the morning, and she walked through the using of a pendulum and how you can ask yes/no questions. And so it was a really fun, interactive day and a great way to finish up this 3-day conference. As in any experience I have in this field, I also met some really, really interesting people and made some immediate friends. It's fun sharing stories and where we've been on our journeys, and we continue to stay in touch. So I highly recommend that you check out A.R.E. and any of the conferences down there. You can find more information at edgarcayce.org and under the events section. Thank you for listening.